from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
A pleasant evening and a very warm welcome to the national news broadcast of Rupavahini on Channel I. I'm Dilanjali and joining me is Clifford Richards. And these are the top stories which have made headlines for tonight. GCE Advanced Level Examination will begin tomorrow. 760 independent groups contesting for local government polls. Many nominations are rejected. Kurunagala Mayor removed. China to respond over the financing and debt restructuring of Sri Lanka. A new Prime Minister for New Zealand. Now for those and other stories in detail on your top story. GCE Advanced Level Examination will begin tomorrow.
Well, the examination department has said that all necessary preparations have been made to conduct the examination. A total of 331,709 candidates are sitting for this year's GCE Advanced Level Examination, out of which 278,196 are school applicants, while 53,513 are private. The examination will be held in 2,200 centres. Special examination centres have been set up in the Magazine Prison as well as at the IDH Hospital. The examination will continue until the 17th of February. More information on the examination can be obtained by accessing the official website of the Examination Department, www.donets.lk. Special transport facilities have been allocated to transport students for the exam. Accordingly, 1,617 Sisusarya buses have been deployed in this regard. Issues pertaining to the bus services can be informed to hotline 1955. Also, the Railway Department has added 16 additional train journeys for the operations other than the normal railway schedule. Issues pertaining to train services can be informed via hotline 1971. The exams department has indicated that the relevant institutions have been confirmed that an uninterrupted power supply will be facilitated during the examination period. Minister Kanchana Wijayasekara says the electricity tariffs should be revised mandatorily in order to assure an uninterrupted power supply.
Not only during the examination period, the minister further indicated that the Constitutional Council should take a necessary action against the Public Utilities Commission chairman for not allowing tariff revision. Minister Kanchana Wijayasekara said that the government policy is to assure an uninterrupted power supply in the future and not only during the advanced level examination period. He said that the decision in this regard will be made following a favourable response from the PUCSL. He said that one member of the PUCSL Commission is not entitled to impact the country in such a manner and the country should seek for legal action in this regard. He said that the government will face severe difficulties in the face of an election following the tariff revision. Yet, he said that the government is not prepared to cause any difficulties to the nation.
Well, FIFA has banned the Football Federation of Sri Lanka until further notice, effective yesterday. The World Football Governing Body made the relevant announcement in an official communique sent to all member associations today. A letter signed by Secretary General of FIFA, Fatma Samora, has indicated that Sri Lanka has lost all its membership rights following the suspension. The letter has indicated that the Football Federation of Sri Lanka has been suspended until further notice in accordance with the Article 16 of the FIFA statutes. The letter has further stated that the Football Federation of Sri Lanka representative and the club teams are therefore no longer entitled to take part in international competitions until the suspension is lifted. Accordingly to the letter, neither the Football Federation nor any of its members or officials may benefit from any development programs, courses or any training from FIFA and also the Asian Football Confederation.
Now, the Election Commission says 760 independent groups have handed over nominations for the local government polls. Reports have indicated that many nominations filed by recognized political parties have been rejected. Placing deposits for 340 local government institutions, excluding LPT Pradesha Sabha, was commenced on last 4th. However, nominations were not called for Kalmune local government institution, following a court order. Accordingly, nominations were called for 339 local government institutions. The accepting of nominations was commenced on last 18th and concluded by 12 noon yesterday. The Election Commission has indicated that apart from 86 registered and recognized political parties in the country, other political parties have submitted nominations at least for one local government institution. The Election Commission has further said that many nominations have been rejected due to various issues, including the failure to obtain the respective party general secretary's signature on the nominations. 30 nominations, including 10 main political parties and 3 independent groups, submitted for 17 local government institutions in Kalatura district have been rejected. The nominations submitted by New Lanka Freedom Front, led by MP Kumara Welgama, and Freedom People's Front for Matugama Pradesha Sabha have also been rejected. 2 nominations handed over by the Frontline Socialist Party for the Ratnapura district have been rejected. 17 nominations filed for 12 local government institutions in Nuwara Elia district have been rejected. Nominations of 4 groups out of 104 political parties and independent groups submitted for 17 local government institutions in Mathura district have been rejected. Also, the nominations filed by former Mayor of Mathura Municipal Council Ranjit Yasaratna through an independent group for Mathura Municipal Council and Mulatiana Pradesha Sabha have been rejected. 133 political parties and 9 independent groups have handed over nominations for 19 local government institutions in Anuradhapura district, out of which nominations of 4 independent groups have been rejected. 163 nominations were filed for 18 local government institutions in Badula district and 11 of them have been rejected, including 8 recognized political parties and 3 independent groups. Nominations submitted by United National Party for Haldumulla and Mahiyangana Pradesha Sabhas, as well as nominations submitted by Ceylon Workers Congress for Haputale and Hali Ala Pradesha Sabhas have been rejected. The Mayor of Kurunagala Municipal Council, Tushara Sanjay Vitarana, has been removed from his post.
Well, the mayor has been removed through a special gazette notification issued by the governor of the Northwestern Province, Admiral of the Fleet Vasanta Karannaguda. The relevant gazette has been issued citing that the mayor shall be deemed to have resigned from his post with effect from 31st December 2022. Well, this relevant gazette notification has been issued after the Kurunagala Municipal Council failed to pass the budget document for 2023. Another cause for the removal of the Kurunagala mayor is the non-compliance of the 2020 Municipal Council budget formulation and enforcement orders. Accordingly, the gazette notification has indicated that considering the position of the mayor is vacant, the responsibility of covering its duties has been vested with the deputy mayor of the council. The deputy mayor will continue to function until the post of the mayor is filled.
But China is expected to hand over its letter of support for Sri Lanka to the International Monetary Fund today, the Hindustan Times reports. Authorities have recently announced that the negotiations with China over Sri Lanka's debt restructuring plan are currently at the final stages. India became the first country to hand over its letter of support for financing and debt restructuring of Sri Lanka to the International Monetary Fund in a sign of its continued support for the nation's economic recovery. Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar assured the support to Sri Lanka during his visit to the island nation. China, the country's largest bilateral lender, is the last major creditor that has yet to officially announce its support to Sri Lanka. The country is required to gain the backing of both China and India to reach a final agreement to secure a bailout from the global lender. Accordingly, Hindustan Times has reported that China expected to officially communicate its support for Sri Lanka to the IMF today. However, Chinese embassy in Sri Lanka is yet to make an official announcement in this regard. Reuters news agency, quoting Deputy Treasury Secretary Priyant Ratnayaka, has indicated that the discussions with China are at the final stage and is expecting their assurances in the next few days. Now, the bus driver in connection with the Nanuair accident has been remanded until February 1st.
This particular driver was remanded based on an order issued by the Nuwara magistrate Nalaka Sanjeeva Edirisinghe. Well, the driver, identified as Indrage Gnanaratna, residing in Kudauduwa area in Horana, was taken into custody while receiving treatment at the Nuwara District Hospital. 7 people, including a 5-member family, were killed in the accident. Meanwhile, the provincial governor Lalit U. Gamage extended his condolences by visiting the residences of the victims. One person has been killed from an accident that occurred at the Polwatta railway crossing. That was this morning.
The accident had occurred after a 3-wheeler had collided with the Galukumari train operating from Mathura to Colombo. A 38-year-old resident in Kirimatimulla, Teljivella area has been killed from the accident. Another person has been admitted to Mathura General Hospital with injuries. A bus had collided with a lorry transporting gas cylinders while attempting to overtake another vehicle last evening in Horagasmankada area along Colombo-Kurunagala Road. Close to 20 persons have been injured from the accident and admitted to the Varakapala hospital.
Well, deploying of buses acquired through the Indian Credit Line for rural roads is currently underway.
This initiative has been undertaken concurrently with the 75th Independence anniversary. Minister Bandula Gunawardena took part in a ceremony recently to deploy a bus service from Paduka, Galkaduwa, Angampitiya, Uggala and Mipe to Peta along the 124/1 route. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that close to 1,000 buses will be deployed covering rural roads in the country from February. According, the minister said that under the initial phase, 225 buses which can be operated on rural roads will be added into the existing fleet.
Well, Firefly is an insect species with a great significance to the environment. However, it has been identified that the fireflies in the present day are hardly being sighted in the surrounding nature. Well, the fireflies or lightning buds are observed across the world and distributed with a great diversity of species, with subspecies inhabiting the tropical and temperate regions. Their fascinating automatically on and off light signaling patterns illuminate during the night with a vast beauty. The firefly has the ability to illuminate its signaling pattern in various colors. The firefly is considered as a crucial component for the nighttime tourism industry. In other countries, for many tourists prefer to experience the light-emitting frequencies, an astounding color which paint the dark night sky. Firefly not only is beneficial to the environment but for the human beings as well. However, the firefly is considered as endemic insect species today.
An electrician in Galevela has innovated a new creation to supply power during prevailing power cuts in the country. Accordingly, M. Mohammed Mihlar, an electrician residing in Nambadagahavatta, Galvela area, has created a new device which ensures power supply for businesses and houses with small children during the power cut hours. He said that it requires discarded motor car batteries and equipment to connect to the main circuit. He has claimed that power can be returned to a house without electricity supply for a mere cost of 25,000 rupees. He further said that the business owners who have acquired services from him have said that the new methodology is a much more convenient system than the fuel-operated generators.
Well, steps have been taken to restore the main dam of the Handapanvilla cascade system in Dimulagala Divisional Secretariat Division in Polonnaruwa, which is considered as Asia's biggest cascade system. Well, this dam will be restored after 10 years. Around 250 fisheries families in the Handapanvilla area are expected to benefit from the restoration of this dam. Water supply to cultivate around 500 paddy fields during the Yala and Maha seasons will be ensured through the project. Residents of the area said that this project will prevent the wild elephant threats to their villages, as the dietary requirements of the elephants will be sufficed with the water retention in the system. The governor of the North Central Province, Mahipala Herath, was present on this occasion.
Now, Sri Lanka's tourism and fisheries industries mainly depend on the natural settings of the coastal belt. Accordingly, the protection of the ocean and the coastal belt is not only an environmental necessity but an economic need. There is a high possibility for naval and shipping accidents as the international sea route is trailing closer to the southern sea of the country. Sri Lankans had to face such incidents in the past couple of years. Accordingly, a workshop was held in Hambantota recently to brief the general public on how to respond to such incidents. It was organized by Sri Lanka Turtle Conservation Project and Maritime Environment Protection Authority. Sri Lanka Navy, Coast Guard and representatives of many state and non-state organizations and people involved in fisheries industry in the area were present at the occasion. Now, a wild elephant had stormed into a chiller belonging to the Fisheries Corporation near Minneria town.
Well, a footage recorded in a mobile phone has shown that the wild elephant was consuming fish which were stored in the chiller. Well, even though the Fisheries Corporation Centre situated near the Minneria town had frequently encountered a wild elephant threat, the employees of the centre had been able to mitigate the situation. However, the mobile phone footage shows that the wild elephant, which had stormed into the chiller last night, consuming the stored fish while breaking open the chiller doors. The residents in the area said that the wild elephant is used to consume leftovers at the Minneria Army camp and in the periphery. Therefore, the residents claimed that the elephant stormed into the Minneria town by breaking down the electric fences. Even though the authorities were able to restore the damaged chiller belonging to the Fisheries Corporation, the residents are anxiously waiting for the authorities to take action in preventing a looming wild elephant threat to the Minneria town.
Now, from storming a chiller to an attack, a three-wheeler transporting 2 foreign tourists had been attacked by an elephant in Minneria area today. The incident had occurred this morning in Batoya area in Minneria along Haburana-Minneria main road. The three-wheeler was transporting a German national couple at the time of the accident. Reports have indicated that the three-wheeler carrying the foreign tourists had stopped near the main road and the wild elephant had attacked the three-wheeler, suddenly appearing from the opposite side of the road. The three-wheeler has been damaged from the accident. However, the tourists were unharmed. Now, the Marine Exercise of Cooperation Afloat Readiness and Training 2023 is currently underway in Mullikulam.
Well, it was augmented by personnel from the U.S. Marine Corps, the Sri Lanka Navy Marines and also the Special Boat Squadron, Rapid Action Boat Squadron and also the Naval Infantrymen. Accordingly, the humanitarian assistance and disaster relief exercises were held at the beach area of Mullikulam in the Northwestern Naval Command today. The exercise saw 2 landing aircraft air cushion of the U.S. Navy transferring troops, logistics and vehicles ashore for drills. The training exercise also assisted both partners to coordinate and communicate with one another in a simulated environment and improved skills. Commander Northeastern Naval Area Rear Admiral Nishant Perez and a group of senior officers of the command were present on this occasion to inspect the proceedings. Exciting drill there, and we take a short break from the local stories. We'll be back with international stories shortly.
Welcome back. On foreign news, New Zealand's former Minister for COVID-19 Chris Hipkins has been confirmed as the country's next Prime Minister.
Well, Hipkins got the unanimous support of legislators from the ruling Labour Party today after he was the only candidate to replace the charismatic Jacinda Ardern, who shocked the nation last week when she announced that she was resigning after more than 5 years as Prime Minister. Well, Hipkins, 44, will be officially sworn into this new role on Wednesday. He will have less than 9 months before contesting a tough general election, which opinion polls indicating his party is trailing its conservative opposition. Hipkins immediately acknowledged Ardern's leadership, who he called one of New Zealand's greatest prime ministers and an inspiration to women and girls everywhere. Known as Chippy, Hipkins built a reputation for competence in tackling COVID and was a troubleshooter for Ardern when other cabinet ministers were struggling. First elected to Parliament in 2008, he became a household name fronting the government's response to the pandemic. He was appointed Health Minister in July 2020 before becoming the COVID Response Minister at the end of the year. Hipkins named Carmel Sepuloni as Deputy Prime Minister of New Zealand's first Deputy Prime Minister of the Pacific origin.
Peru has closed its famous tourist site Machu Picchu indefinitely over the ongoing protest against the country's new president. The government said it closed the site and the Inca Trail hike leading up to it to protect tourists and citizens. Hundreds of people who were stuck for hours at the foot of the 15th century Inca citadel have now been rescued. The violent protests, which have seen dozens of people killed, began when Peru's previous leader was ousted. Rail services to Machu Picchu were suspended on last Thursday after some train tracks were damaged, allegedly by protesters. It left 418 people stranded at the site, Tourism Minister Luis Fernando Helguera said at a news conference yesterday. However, by yesterday night, the Tourism Ministry announced that everyone, 148 foreigners and 270 Peruvians, had been safely evacuated on trains and buses. They are not the first visitors who have been stranded at Machu Picchu because of civil unrest. Last month, hundreds of tourists were airlifted out after being stuck there for several days. Sitting high on a mountain in the Andes, Machu Picchu is considered one of the new 7 wonders of the world. It is hugely popular with tourists, with around 1 million people visiting every year. Some visitors arrive at Machu Picchu via the Inca Trail, which is a famous multi-day hike. In a statement, Peru's cultural minister said that those who had already bought tickets for the site would be able to use them for 1 month after the end of the demonstrations or get a refund. Demonstrators in Peru are demanding fresh elections and calling for a new president, Dina Boluarte, to stand down, which she has so far refused to do.
And in COVID-related news, China has reported almost 13,000 deaths related to COVID-19 in hospitals between January 13th and 19th, as its experts say that the wave of infections across the country has already peaked. The death toll update today from China's Center for Disease Control and Prevention adds to the nearly 60,000 COVID-related deaths in hospitals between December 8th and January 12th. Reported on January 14th. Well, that marked a huge increase from the 5,000 plus deaths reported previously over the entire pandemic period. The death count reported by Chinese authorities excludes those who died at home, and some doctors have said that they're discouraged from putting COVID on death certificates. Hospitals and funeral homes have been overwhelmed since China abandoned the world's strictest regime of COVID controls and mass testing in early December, which had caused significant economic damage and stress. That abrupt policy U-turn, which followed historic protests against the curbs, unleashed COVID on a population of 1.4 billion that had been largely shielded from the disease since it emerged in the city of Wuhan in late 2019.
Now, a deputy chief designer for the Lunar Exploration Project says China's lunar rover U-22, or the Jade Rabbit 2, will soon welcome a new friend on the moon. Steady progress has been made in the execution of a 4th phase of China's lunar exploration project involving the Change 6, Change 7 and Change 8 missions, which are all undergoing relevant research and preparation, launched on December 7, 2018. The U-22 is the robotic lunar rover component of China National Space Administration's Change 4 mission to the moon. It entered lunar orbit on December 12, 2018 before making the first soft landing on the far side of the Moon on January 3, 2019. The U-2 is currently operational as the longest-lived lunar rover and the first lunar rover traversing the far side of the Moon. In the collaborative design and simulation hall of the Deep Space Exploration Laboratory, designers are conducting collaborative demonstration and design of plans related to Change 6, Change 7 and Change 8 missions of the Lunar Exploration Project.
Prima Katami Fantamai.
Athlete Danushka Sundaram recorded the second place in the long jump tournament at the Pro Classic tournament under the American Track League Championship.
Accordingly, Danushka recorded a distance of 7.34 meters. American athlete James Gilbert, who was placed first, recorded a distance of 7.44 meters. This is considered a significant win in the Indoor Athletic Championship. Ram Krish from Capital FM became the new president of the Sri Lanka Professional Sports Journalists Association. Johan Basura from Lankadipa newspaper was elected as general secretary, and also national television Sampath C. Pereira was appointed the new treasurer. The committee was appointed for a tenure of 2 years. The cricket fiesta organized by the Past Pupils Association of Colombo Lumbini College was held at the Havelock grounds yesterday. The award ceremony was held with the participation of the college principal Sanath Gunathilaka. The Kandy Premier League T20 cricket tournament held with the participation of 24 teams was commenced yesterday. The tournament will be held at the police grounds. The tournament is organized by the Kandy Royal Challengers Association.
Prima Katami Fantamai.
News we have for tonight. Join us tomorrow at 8:50 p.m. for the very latest on Channel Eye. I'm Dilanjali, together with Clifford, signing off. Good night.
Good night.